Hello, hello. This is Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how we do it or how I do it. Or well, I guess today is we, right? So, hey, we're on with Mr. Craig Sullivan. This was like a last minute thing from yesterday. Craig said, hey, why don't we do something together? I'm like, well, then when? He said, what about tomorrow? I'm like, okay, let's do it tomorrow. But no, thank you so much, Craig, for agreeing to come on and just have a conversation. I don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to find out. We're going to have some fun with it.
It's my pleasure, Russell. You're a good friend. We've known each other for a number of years now.
Yes.
And I love your programs. I always get information, good conversations, and some comedy out of them. And, and I love that. It's one of those things where, if you don't want to get engaged with your emails and all this other stuff, you just want a few minutes to relax and enjoy somebody's conversation over a cup of coffee. That's what I do when I'm typically watching your shows. So congratulations on a great format. I really love what you're doing, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And for people that don't know this, let me just say this real quick. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're on either one of those platforms, feel free to make comments, say hey, say whatever. I love to know where you're from, where you're chiming in from, because I'm all about, I can care less if you make any comments, but I like to know what the reach is. I just like to know. No, I love the comments. Don't get me wrong. Please engage with the comments, but I just like to know what the reach is. But real quick, okay, so we go back some years, okay, Craig and I, right? So I got to tell you the story. He may not want to hear it. He's probably heard it 100,000 times, and now I'm going to repeat it again. So 100,001.
There we go.
So years ago, and this was before was this before? It had to be 2018. Okay, it's 2018, and I was just freshly from my last gig, which was a director of sales and marketing at the Sheraton Universal, okay, right next to Universal Studios. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew it was something within hotels, and it was something had to do with promoting hotels or marketing hotels or whatever. So I happened to get invited to a hotel. There's a Sheraton and where is it called? In Baldwin Park. Sheraton. It was brand new. Okay, it was a brand new opening. And I got invited for lunch out there. In fact, who was it that invited me? Debbie Vale, who is now with Pasadena CVB. She invited me, okay? And I took pictures and videos and all this stuff, and I put those all together and posted it on LinkedIn. Craig calls me or reaches out to me on LinkedIn. And well, first of all, we find out that we had a mutual company that we work for, which was hotels. And then finally he asked me, hey, are you a marketing company or media company or something like that? I said, no, I just happened to post this video. And he said, well, hey, I have this podcast called California.
It's actually a radio show back.
Radio show. It was a radio show in Orange County.
Check
out California, right? And he asked me to come on. And we came on. It was fun. I'd never done it before. That was the first podcast I had ever done. And that was a traditional kind of podcast, right? So it was 100%. For the most part, it was audio, right? I don't think it was video.
It was strictly audio. It was on Orange County's only public radio station.
Yes.
OC Talk Radio. The guy that owned the studio and was also the engineer, Paul, created.
Yes.
Yes. I
So
had a
we
host
did that.
who had another show on that network.
So we did that, and on my way home, and Craig, he does it right. Okay, he invited me out for lunch. We had lunch before. We had conversation. It was just a good time, right? I'm like, this is great, right? And then on my way home, it's a good drive from Orange County back to LA, and I'm thinking like, man, I gotta somehow use that in whatever I'm trying to do, because one thing I don't want to do and this is from year to year, you don't want to use the same thing or go into the new year doing the same things you're doing, the previous year, right? So I didn't want to leave 2018 going into 2019 doing the same thing. So as I'm, going home, I'm like, I think I got the podcast. But what I did first was I called you first to let you know what I was doing, because I didn't want him to think I was, infringing on anything and taking anything away from him. And he was so gracious. He said, "Hey, you have a different, but first of all, different mind frame, different experiences. We have different audiences." I mean, he said, "Man, go for it." He said, "Go for it." And I went for it, and to the January 21st, 2019 was my first show, and I have not looked back yet. And it's all because of the show that you introduced me to, Check Out California, when I was your guest.
Yeah. That was a fun time. It was that was my first experience as well, the podcast radio side. And I made a point, if I booked the guest, that, because my co-host at the time was also booking guests. So if it was my guest, I always met them for lunch, basically across the street from the studio. And we'd go to Claim Jumper. I don't even know if they're still around anymore. Have a nice lunch, great conversation. And my whole thing was, I wanted to calm the guest down, but I wanted to calm myself down as well. And, get to know them a little bit better before, boom, here we are. Check Out California.
Yeah.
Using my cool FM voice. But, it was a great time, and it taught me a lot. And, and then my brother from another mother, Glenn Hausman, I had done some audio podcasting, and then 2020 rolled around. My conference, the California Lodging Investment Conference, was the last hotel conference of that year. And I knew Glenn was going to start doing a daily live show with Anthony, and that he was going to cut through all the noise. So it was really good just to listen and watch his show. And I called him and I said, I got to stay relevant, and I need to get back into this. And Glenn helped me out immensely. And I had a producer who helped me launch the show, Danietta Leffler, who just, great editor, great director, great producer. And she laid the foundation for the show, reeled me in, and, really turned it into something special. And Danny needed to stretch and grow, and she left last season. And then I got the amazing doctor, producer, director, Suzanne Bagnera, now running the show. And, our first episode last season, with a panel, Rachel Humphrey and a panel of speakers from the Women in Hospitality Leadership Alliance, is our all-time most viewed episode at over 50,000 views.
Wow.
And I lucky, blessed, fortunate, whatever it might be, my friends, my colleagues, my producers and directors are just the best. And, I kid a lot about just smiling and nodding. It's been a great ride, and it got me to get some points across about our industry. You've been to my conference in the past, and one of the things that we've always done was give back a percentage of the gate to various trade organizations for their scholarship programs. And that was very important. You've heard me complain for years that we haven't done a good job about recruiting in our industry. And there's Paula. Love her. She's great.
Yes.
But, yeah. I mean, you and I have got a great friendship, and, I give you a hard time sometimes in the comments, but it's all in love, brother.
No, you know what? I welcome those. You always keep me on my toes. Okay. So I welcome the comments especially from you. I always know I'm gonna get something. Okay. I know I'm always gonna get something I didn't even look for, didn't know it was even coming.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you, being supportive over the years, and yeah, and it's all been a learning thing, for all of us, me included. Going from, I mean, before we came on air, he was asking me about Restream, and he was telling me StreamYard is what he uses, and those are things that we have conversations about, how to make the podcast better, or what works for you. And me, I'm kind of picky over. I think I've used probably at least 4 different platforms since I've started.
Yeah.
And things evolve, and things evolve, and we have probably 2 different needs and stuff like that. So yeah, so no, it's been good. It's been good. So I see. Hey, Paula C. Now, let's real quick. Paula C. is going to be a guest on my show. In fact, Paula C. Check this out. Check this out, Paula C. Next Tuesday, okay, Paula C. is going to be on show number 351 of On Air with Russell of Hotels. So make sure you guys check that out. She's with Guest Review. We're going to have conversations about AI, okay, AI and hotel discovery and all that kind of stuff. So no, I appreciate you, Paula C., for coming on. Kind of right on tab there. And then we see Jim Schichter, who's the former COO with Broughton Hotels, who I work for, and Jim's a good friend as well. So he says the dynamic duo. So
all I can say, it's a good thing you and I were both not in that same corporate office at the same time, because nobody would have gotten anything done.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you so much, Policy. We appreciate you, Policy. So okay, Craig. So what's in the industry? Give us some industry, some updates. What's going on in the industry these days?
There's so many things, but let's talk about AI. We're not there yet. I think AI is becoming a bigger controversy as we start looking at what's going on with some of the data centers that are being built. Their use of energy, water, lack of employment. Your average data center is now only got about 40 full-time employees. So I don't think it's the boom that some of the smaller rural communities thought it would be for employment. Larger ones may have 100, but a lot of those people come in from other locations. It's a tool. It's not a replacement. We are a people business. Okay.
Yes.
And I feel right now can be a golden opportunity for anybody in the industry who applies themselves, learns multiple jobs, multiple positions, revenue enhancement, revenue management. You're going to have tools that are going to help you get that together and make you prosper, make your hotel prosper. And I think that the more you do, the faster your promotions are going to come. We've got a labor problem, and we've had it for years. We don't do a good job at recruiting. You don't have to go to Wall Street to make money. You can do it in this industry. You can go from the property side to the corporate side easier now than at any other time. I love going to communities and areas that I'm really not familiar with clients, and finding out the story of that area, walking in and out of a bunch of different hotels that may or may not be up for sale as well. Like you, I come into a lobby and I sit down and I watch everybody. Okay. The staff, are they engaging? Are they looking you in the eye and saying, hello, how are you? Is there anything I can do for you? Or are they looking at the ground and rah, 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 mumbling? Okay? It's the latter. You've got some problems in that hotel right off the top. So, what are the guests saying? Because you can always hear something from a guest, either in the restaurant or the lobby bar area or at the front desk. And, the valet is another good one. But, we're in the people business, and it's safety, security, a good night's sleep, a shower that's got great water pressure. Still haven't gotten the riding light. I still hear lots of comments from women that, it's horrible trying to put makeup on in the bathrooms.
Yeah. I
But
think that's the worst ever.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
but
we haven't gotten that right in a long time. I don't
no.
think we ever will.
But I think, I'm moderating a panel at the Southern Lodging Summit. It's AI 2.0. We did it last year. We had a great panel. We had one of our guests, it's a management company that straddles the fence between hospitality and short-term vacation rentals.
Mhm.
And they've got 10,000 short-term rentals in their portfolio that they're managing. You
Wow.
know, now I don't know how many owners that is, but could it be 10,000 different owners? And how do you manage them? They do everything with AI. They've got it dialed in. They're one of the few companies. I pick 5 companies every year that I'm going to follow through that year because they've
Mhm.
impressed me somehow.
Mhm.
They're one of them. And,
Wow.
so this year we're adding doctor, producer, director Suzanne Bagnera. She's created the AI programs at Florida International University. So she's on the cutting edge of what's coming, what's
Mhm.
next. How can we get certificates in people's hands? How can we do this online? How can we make it, a program that you are going to get the help for the next part of your career? And I've always, well, not always, but certainly in the past 20 years, I've always felt that if you're going to college right now, you need to either be a dual major or a major with a very strong minor. Every job has a shelf life. And that's true going back to the cotton gin, the Industrial Revolution, Ford Motor Company, and their production line.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, one thing a lot of people aren't getting is Henry Ford, love him or hate him, he always felt that his employees had to be able to afford to buy the product they build. Paid them fairly well for the time. So it's we're changing. Interest rates are high. That's a problem. You've got people that their loans are coming due. Are they going to extend? Are they going to buy? Are they going to go through complete refinances? How's that going to affect their performance? How's that going to affect their ability to pay their bills, pay their associates, and keep the hotel running? So we've got a lot of things going on right now. Insurance is another issue right now. Right?
Mhm.
We've got some great insurance carriers out, and I recommend 6 months before your policy renews, talk to your carrier, start getting some supplemental pricing as well. Find out what it's going to cost. I, we've got fires in the Western United States. We've got hurricanes, the East Coast, tornadoes in the central part of the country. So,
Mhm.
that disruption of business insurance is getting very expensive.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely. Definitely, definitely. So okay, okay, that's all very interesting. But the whole AI piece, I guess it's that's the hot thing, right? Because is it taking jobs? Is it going to take my job? And I always tell people, no, I don't think that is it. But you need to understand it. You need to know exactly what, especially when it comes to salespeople.
yeah,
Okay, how can you make your job easier? Because we all want to be out, we all want to, take care of our clients, but we still have to follow up with the, like I go to trade shows all the time or conferences
yeah,
or whatever, and my one of my biggest pet peeves is they don't return, they don't follow up on what we talked about, right? I went to one, I think I'm still waiting for everybody to call me or email me or whatever. So let's just say I went to my last conference that I attended. I had 21 appointments. I think maybe 7 have responded, have followed up with it, follow up email saying, "Hey, it was great meeting you.
yeah,
I remember the conversation about this or whatever it is. Let's keep the conversation going," kind of thing.
yeah.
7 people out of 21. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. But and it's not just me. I always think it's about me, but no, I talk to other people that are in my same position. They say the same thing. So hopefully AI, I know AI can assist you with that, right? sending emails, responding. Those are things that I would be using it for if I'm on property.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And it's also about your revenue enhancement and dynamic pricing, and working that out. But in our particular field of endeavors, I'm not really that worried about the loss of staff at the hotel. I would be more worried about my relationships that I've spent a career building
Oh yeah.
on the financial side. Let's wrap it up with one big bow. It's not just your lenders, but it's also your insurance. It's your title and escrow teams out there for your sales and refinances, construction loans, all of that. A lot of people are going to get displaced with that because these AI systems will be handling that. They're going to be doing a lot of the underwriting. And then how am I supposed to, make my point to an AI underwriter? Okay, that worries me. So you've got to have your relations still intact, and you've got to be able to reach out to those people. I believe in banking relationships. I have deposits with, a community bank in particular that I know the gentleman who runs their commercial real estate lending. We go back over 30 years. I've watched him get married, his kids grow up, and I can pick up the phone and call him. Go, hey, what about this? What do you guys think? And I like having that ability. And it's anytime I need anything, I can reach out, and that's relationship driven. So I think that as much as we're going to have things change, I think we can enhance the guest experience. You see everybody talking about that, the guest experience and enhancing it. Okay. I also don't want to get to the point where soon as I've crossed the geo fence into a hotel that I'm getting nothing but text messages. Okay. Hey, manager special today. Join us for a barbecue at the pool. Now it depends on what I'm there for. If it's leisure, okay, I might go to that. Okay. If I'm there because I've flown into town for meetings, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want you picking restaurants for me to have a meal. Chances are the person that I'm meeting with has already picked the restaurant, and I'm just showing up to meet them. So I think there's some things there that we need, but I think let's talk about selling your hotel. And I agree with you 100% with what you said the other day. Somebody tells me their restaurant, their hotel, their event venue is the hidden gem in the community. Okay. It's like, okay, there's something wrong here. It can't be a hidden gem. Okay. You've got to get out there. And I think AI being a tool to use with your marketing and to get the word out about your hotel is a good thing. I also think that, remember when hotels kind of pushed back on having social media spots in their lobby and that type of thing?
They still do.
Well, yeah, they do. But, some of the better ones in resort areas, let's look at Disney, around Anaheim. They've got those things. The JW Marriott has got a virtual secret tour of their gardens and farm to table facility as you walk through it on the open deck area, that you use your phone when you get to the first sign and it kind of directs you where to go. I think those things are great. I think that, if you set up certain areas by the pool, okay, okay, you and your girlfriend or wife are staying there. You got 2 kids, 2.5, one's in your arm. The other 2 are planning on how to cannonball and get the 2 of you wet. Okay. It makes a great Instagram moment.
Yes.
I think there's a lot coming there. I think also the floodgates of information have opened. You and I can not only do a Google search for something, but we can go to various sites that post reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You get a ton of information.
Mm-hmm.
We can go to the brand website. We can go to the hotel's website if it's a boutique or independent operator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or smaller, hotel company. One of my favorites is Pacifica Hotels, based in Orange County,
Mm-hmm.
that have got hotels up and down the coast. One of my favorite hotels of theirs is the Wayfarer in downtown LA.
Yeah.
Love that hotel. Best latte in the morning, best breakfast in the morning is at that hotel. Great night's sleep, outstanding food and beverage program up on the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
Then they've also got a speakeasy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've engaged the speakeasy more. They will do a film and fork, I think it's called, and they curate a meal to the movie that they're showing. So if, say, it's Home Alone, okay, so
Mm-hmm.
pizza. If it's Pretty in Pink, there's a pink lipstick candy. Those are just a couple of small examples because they've got different courses throughout the entire movie. And it's great, and it's a huge revenue generator. And I like, trying to monetize every square inch, but I don't want to do it by upsetting the guest. $20 for a bottle of water in a room is ridiculous. Okay. I know you're sending somebody over to Costco. Okay. I know you're paying for it. No. And as I alluded to your show the other day, resort fees and urban destination charges. Now, legitimate resort, it's got 4.5 associates per guest. Yeah, I get it. And I'm good paying that. Okay. But I'm walking into a full service something, and I'm still get with a resort fee, and it's not a resort. I'm not a happy camper about that.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't like that either. Hey, what do you think? Speaking of resort fees, what do you think about the third parties not letting you know that there are resort fees attached to the rates?
I think they're doing the traveling public, whether it's business or leisure, a disservice. I thought there was a federal law where you had to disclose that.
The hotels have to. The third parties don't have to.
Okay, there's the loophole. I disagree. I think they should put it out there. We gave too much power to the OTAs decades ago. Okay. Now, who's going to take the bad end of that argument from a guest who's going, what is this?
Yeah.
It's not going to be the OTA. It's going to be whoever's at the front desk of the hotel.
Exactly.
And that's not fair to the associate. It's not fair to the hotel. It's not fair to the whole team.
Yeah.
Now, looping this back around to AI, I think AI as a booking agent is going to be something that's going to revolutionize everything. And I think that you've got a chance of pulling some of this away from the OTAs. So now I believe no matter what the brand is, okay, if you've filled out your profile and you are part of their rewards program and that profile is accurate, that also gives the hotel a chance to review, run it through their AI for things that you might like. There's a hotel up in San Francisco that I absolutely love. It's living history. And right down the street, there's a little restaurant that I always go to that has maybe about 12 tables. And it's just some of the best Italian food in the city. And the only reason I found out about it was years ago, the concierge at that hotel told me about it. And it's a quick walk down the hill partially and a quick walk back. So, I think those are the things that can enhance the guest experience. I think, our friend Glenn Hausman did a video the other day about, his journey with AI and using it for booking his trip. Gave the parameters, going to a city he hadn't been in before. Imagine that. Glenn's in a city he hadn't been in before. And they gave him a lot of choices based on his parameters. It impressed him so much he went out and did a walk and talk video on that, and it was really a good one. And I think we've got a bright future with AI.
Yeah, I think so too. I use it just like Glenn uses it. Especially, if I'm going to areas or areas of wherever, if that's United States, if that's certain states I've never been to, different brands that I'm not familiar with, I'll just type it in there and say, hey, give me information about this particular hotel. What is it? Who are they marketing to? You know what I mean? And it'll tell you all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's an invaluable thing, especially as an independent, whatever, hospitality entrepreneur. I still do meetings for companies and organizations, so it's made my job a lot easier because now I can say I need hotels. I need 5 hotels that are located near this arena, this convention center, this that are full service. Under 300 rooms, whatever the heck it is. I mean, the prompts make a big difference.
Yeah.
And then it'll tell me like, okay, because I know my client, this is what my client wants, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just asking, and it's telling me to ask more questions of my client now, or it's making me ask more questions of my client. Because before I'm just doing all the legwork trying to figure this stuff out, right? But now that I have a tool that I can say, hey, this client needs to be in Atlanta. They need a 4 or 5 diamond hotel located near here on these dates. Give me the availability, or give me those hotels. And also I'll throw in there, because there's one particular client, they need meeting space that has natural lighting. So, and all that matters of what I'm saying, it kind of going to tie into some things that we ask from hotels, right?
Yeah.
You need to explain those things in your website. Okay, so all that stuff, if you have natural lighting, if most of or all your meeting space has windows, that's a huge selling feature. Okay, but AI can only scan what you put out there. Okay, it's not going to just make up stuff, right? So it has to scan what you put in there. So now when we start looking, every year we should go through our websites or go through all our sites and make sure pictures are new, pictures are at least current and recent, information has been updated or whatever. Those are things that we need to pay attention to as well, because AI will scan that and give it to someone like me who doesn't know anything about your damn hotel or the area that you're in. So,
well, I think the big plus out of this, from what you're telling me, Russell, is it's making you work harder and go back to your client to dig for some more information, so that you can ingratiate yourself back to your client even more so. It helps strengthen that relationship. And at the end of the day, it's relationships.
Yes.
And this is a tool to help you, make you, and I made this comment the other day. We all drop the ball. It's always about the recovery. Okay. So, what if your client didn't give you that detail about natural light, and you came up with 5 or 6 options, all within the price range, all within walking distance of the convention center, with some good restaurants in between as well, but no mention of that. And all of a sudden they're checking out the hotels that you're recommending, and they're looking at photographs, and it's just 4 walls and a door. What did you do? I told you I needed natural sunlight.
Yes.
I don't recall that. I'm sorry. I'll get it fixed for you.
Exactly.
Doo-dah, you've keyed it in, and now you've got alternatives, and you're right back to them. I mean, you never tell them they're wrong. You want to respect them. You also, you don't know what they're going through. Okay.
Exactly.
We've had bad days, and we're trying to communicate something, and we walk away and we go, I know I forgot something. I just don't know if it was critical or not.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so it's definitely has helped me out. Is like you said, it's I'm asking more questions to make sure everything is covered. And I'm always going to forget something, right? I didn't ask something, and same on their side, they're always going to forget something as well. But I always ask for, give me your top 5 things that you have to have on this for this event,
There you go.
okay? And then as long as I have those top 5, I think I'm good, but I'll throw in some other stuff in there as well. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, if you've got a good client, somebody that you also socialize with, you've got a better understanding of them and what they're looking at. You've gone out and had a meal with them, okay? And you know how they treat servers, you know what type of meals they're ordering, and maybe you know what their birthday is, but they didn't mention it to you, and you know their assistant who's going with them, and you go, "Hey, look, I know it's so and so's birthday, and there's a really good sushi restaurant less than 20 feet from the hotel. Do you want me to make a birthday reservation dinner for you guys and let me know how many people?" And all of a sudden, everybody's really, really happy and going, "Look what Russell did for us." Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, so hey, like I said, I've embraced it, and and I'm using it as best as I can. I use it almost probably every day, several times a day, depending on what I'm working on. But like I said, for someone in my space, I think it's important, and I haven't really had a big conversation with a lot of some of the meeting planners or meeting professionals that are out there that I would normally talk to about certain things.
Yeah.
AI hasn't come up yet, but I know it will. I know that probably these next conferences, they'll start discussing it and all that kind of stuff. But it's only as good as the information that hotels are putting, and CVBs are putting in about their areas as well, right? So yeah, but yeah, is it taking stuff? No, it's not going to take stuff. It's going to enhance the experience for the guest, for the client, for the planner, because it's enhancing my experience now, where I don't have to. It's not a guessing game anymore. And I do a lot of how it really helps me is that I do a lot, and I try not to, but sometimes I don't have time to go to every site, every hotel. But I do a lot of things sight unseen.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, right? So, if this is going to help me navigate through some of the areas I've never been to in my life, well, then damn it, I'm going to pay for it. Okay. And that's what I do.
Well, I don't know. 100 years ago, we'd go into an area that we wanted to explore. We felt that it was either a great opportunity to acquire a hotel that wasn't, running on all 8 cylinders. And, we get the recent comparable sales of hotels. We know what hotels, were ground up construction, renovations, and repositioning, and a AAA book. Okay. And this was all everybody carrying pounds of paper. Okay. Before it ended up on your telephone. Okay. And we're checking out, how many diamonds do they have with AAA? Okay. What's their rating there? Okay. What does the Reader's Digest synopsis of the hotel say in the AAA guide? Okay. So, those exploratory adventures were fun. You'd also find out what select service hotels were good neighbors and sending their guests to, say a mom and pop restaurant that was around the corner or across the street. And it wasn't that like you were trying to cross a freeway to get over there. Okay. A full service hotel does a lot of things great. And one of them is to keep you in the hotel and spend as much money as possible. You know, if you're at a select service or an extended stay and you want to go out for dinner, you talk to someone at the front desk, they're going to tell you what place is good because generally the staff's also ordering from there.
Exactly.
You know, so I like getting those details. I like having that exploratory, you know, with a community and seeing which hotel really embraces the community and is acting as that third or fourth bedroom for the families, you know, for holidays, you know.
Yes.
Coming up on 4th of July. Okay. Now I've used this story. This is probably going to be the 100,001 time you've heard me say this. I got a small beach house. Okay. Got a brother who's not married. Got a sister who's married and has 2.5 kids. Who's staying with me and who's staying at the hotel? Okay. I don't have the infrastructure for all. That's being kind. Okay. Now, we also use the hotel as a base camp. We'll go up there, have breakfast with everybody there, go do what we want to do for the day, go have lunch somewhere, then come back to Craig's house and barbecue for dinner. And then my sister and her husband and her 2.5 kids go back to the hotel and crash.
Exactly.
Right? We'll see you in the morning. We'll start it all over again. You know? Instead of having bodies all over the room, you know, sleeping bags, and you know, my dog doesn't know which way's up. You know? So,
oh man, yes, yes.
You know, we've got so many tools that are going to get improved with AI, and you know, if you're a DOS, you're, you know, revenue, a GM, and AGM right now, I highly suggest you get a hold of Dr. Producer Director Suzanne Bagnera at FIU and check out their AI courses for hospitality because that's all she works on. And they're incredible. Okay. And you never know. There might be a click discount in there too. You never know. So.
You never know. Huh? You never know. That sounds great. Hey, we're on today with Mr. Craig Sullivan. He's gracing us with his presence. Okay, so in this case, in this conversation came from just a brief conversation yesterday. So, we're glad that Craig could just come on the spur of the moment and just have a conversation. So we're just talking about a lot of different things. It can be AI, it can be, you know, anything guest related. We can talk about, he mentioned something that I mentioned a couple of days ago about if you're a hidden gem, either a destination or a hotel, you don't want to be on that list. That's not a list that you want to be on. Oh, we're that hidden gem. No, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. So, so we're talking about a little bit of everything. Go ahead.
I think, you know, we've got one of our biggest holidays for travel right now. Okay. And I didn't check AAA to see what their estimation was of how many people are traveling for this, you know, 3-day weekend, you know, but how many of you are going to turn it into a 4-day weekend? That's what I want to know. You know, I think, okay, this is our holiday as a nation, and you should celebrate our country. And you should enjoy your family and friends and have a good time. But it's going to be expensive this year. Room rates are up, gasoline, fuel prices are up. The most miserable airport in the country, LAX, had a 40% increase in their aviation fuel. Okay? And we're still dropping billions and billions of dollars into that misfunctioning airport, and it ain't going to get fixed. So, I don't know how you feel, but you know, give me Burbank, give me Long Beach, give me John Wayne in Orange County. I'd much rather have a layover someplace than go out to LAX. I avoid that place.
Yeah, well, you know, kind of being like 10 minutes away, Craig, you kind of don't have a choice. You know, we've gotten used to it because, you know, I fly quite a bit.
Yeah.
So and it's so convenient. And I know the systems. I know the ins and outs, the easier ways of getting out. But I mean, you can't control, you know, the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And but you always want to make sure that you are well, I used to be Clear, but now it's what's the other thing? Not Clear.
I don't know. I'm still part of Clear. So
Okay, well, you can be part of Clear, but you can also be part of the other thing. Why can't I
TSA
think of it?
pre-check.
Yeah, TSA pre-check. Okay, so TSA pre-check, yeah, Clear will put you at the top of the TSA pre-check, right? So whatever membership I had to get, I got all those things, right? So yeah, and then Delta has we fly Delta a lot, so Delta has a Sky Lounge, so it's okay if I get there early because you have to get there early. I mean, you can't if you're flying. People say, "Oh, it's a domestic flight. Just be there an hour before." No, that's a bunch of BS. No, I'm always there at least 2 hours for a domestic flight, and if it's an international flight, well, damn it, I'm gonna be there probably about 3, maybe even 4. And if I'm flying Delta, I'm in the Delta lounge, so I'm not, I'm not in I'm not in the wind with everyone else, right? I have things that are going on in here that I'm eating, I have refreshments, I'm relaxing, and there's a TV in there, there's a bar. I mean, all the comforts are there. So
Delta does their lounges right. I mean, Salt Lake City's got a beautiful one. And like my trip to Memphis, I'm going to leave Orange County, go to Salt Lake City, have a layover there for about 40 minutes, and then off to Memphis. And then the same thing on the way back. And we've now got direct flights via Delta from Orange County to JFK. So I can get there without any brain damage. Okay. Now Hawaii, I absolutely refuse to go out of LAX. Will not do it. I don't drive up there anymore. I'll Uber, but I Uber to either Long Beach has a 7 a.m. flight, and I get there at 6. I have coffee, something to eat. Next thing I know, I'm getting on the plane, and then I'm in Hawaii. Now, before that started, I would Uber down to San Diego just to avoid LAX.
Wow.
And they've got a 7 a.m. flight, and I still get into Maui, say 10 a.m. their time, depending on the time of year. And it was just easy. And then I'd come back, I'd take either a 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time flight back and get back into California at night, get an Uber, and come home. And it gave me more peace that I didn't have to deal with anything at LAX.
Oh yeah, no, hey, I understand. I get it. I get it. It's just sometimes it's an adventure. It can be an adventure to go to LAX.
I'm just getting beyond where they used to have those multicolored towers in the LAX side. The right terminal could be. It's just.
Oh man, but I love it. I love LAX. I love LAX. I'm an LAX fan, so I can't complain. I cannot complain because, like I said, literally,
You're 10 minutes away.
10 minutes away, so no freeway, just a straight shot for the most part. Yeah, and I have a neighbor. We take whenever the neighbor needs to go to the airport, I take him. Whenever we need to go to the airport, he takes us. So and then people will park in front of my house, right? They'll call me like, "Hey, we're flying out. We're gonna be gone for a week. Can we park in front of your house?" Because that avoids them from the charges, right, at LAX. So I'm like, I said, "Yeah, but I got to drive your car. I have to drive your car and then pick you up in your car. Is that okay?" And they say, "Yeah, let's do it." Okay, yeah. So I do that as well. So I could be making money off of that, but I'm not. So I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. So
Russell's Town Car Service.
Exactly. But no, it's been working. I've been in this house for 26 years, and that is always happened.
Yeah,
always happened. So
yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. So
yeah, I've been in my house for over 25 years. It's been in the family for more than 55. So
wow. Wow.
It's one of those things where, there was one year I traveled 150,000 air miles just in the continental United States.
Wow.
And I figured it out, and I was only home 30 days that year to sleep in my own bed. And I went, no, I'm not doing this anymore. It was time to pull back.
Wow. Wow. That is crazy. Hey, and to answer your question, this weekend, 72.2 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from
Good.
home. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
I like that. That's the important thing. If they get over that 50-mile marker, it's a substantial trip.
oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. So
I
yeah.
love that.
Now, are you going anywhere for the weekend, or your family? You said your brother and sister are coming, and their family.
Well, okay. The brother and sister,
Mhm.
they're imaginary. I use them for the storytelling.
Oh, just for the story. Okay.
Um, no. My son and grandson are going to come by. They're also heading to Japan. But I said, hey, have fun at LAX, So I'm not driving there. I'm sorry, I'm not going.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
pay for the Uber instead of driving them up there. It's like, no, I'm
Gotcha.
not driving you. No.
Gotcha. I
No.
understand.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll be over for a little bit, and then they're on their trip, and it's going to be. We're going to get invaded with people for the weekend for the beach and all of that, but that's just part of living at the beach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
They
I
must.
apologize. My dog's going crazy.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's his job. Their job is to do that. So
Yeah.
not a problem. Not a problem.
How
So,
about you? What are you doing with the family for the 4th?
that's a good question, Craig. Normally, I'm told what I'm going to be doing, and I haven't been told anything yet. So,
Yeah.
but I know I'll be in town. I know I'll be in town. Yeah. So no, normally some family would, pop in. If they ask me to barbecue, I will, throw some things on the grill, but
Yeah.
nothing has happened yet. So and we're normally last minute anyway. So yeah, so no, but I'll be at home. I definitely will be at home. Yeah.
Sometimes there's no place better than home.
Yes, yes. Especially we have I know I have at least 3 trips in this month. And yeah, if I can stay at home during this one, that'll be fine. So I have a family reunion at the end of the month, 24th through 26th. And then I'm going to Chicago and New York. Not is it next week? Maybe no, week after. Week after.
Nice.
So yeah, so a few things that we got going on. So
Very
yeah, yeah.
Now I've got, I think, 3 trips between now and the end of the year.
Okay.
So I've scaled back, and for the right opportunity, yeah, I'm willing to to go and
Mhm.
you know moderate a panel, be on a panel, any of that, or go to a team building, do a team building with a company.
Mhm.
Um, but the one thing that I am looking forward to is January of next year. Okay. I'll have some friends in town that are attending Alice in downtown LA, the America's Lodging Investment Summit. And the day that it ends, we are all going to the Lucas Museum that just opened.
Oh, okay.
And see that. And then Glenn Hausman and I, the next morning, are going to be road tripping with Glenn and Craig. And we are going to get on an Amtrak and take the coastal route all the way up to San Francisco.
Wow.
And then, see how much fun we have on the train.
Mhm.
And explore what they're doing on the train, show off the California coastline, have
Mhm.
fun
Mhm.
with that. A couple of stops in between where we can grab some footage. Then when we get to San Francisco, depending on where we're staying, will dictate where we're having dinner.
Okay.
And then the next morning, again, depending on where we're staying, if we are lucky enough to be staying at the Fairmont in San Francisco, they serve a breakfast called Pancakes Oscar that is named after one of their chefs. And it's absolutely a guilty pleasure. It is cinnamon infused pancakes, and then there's a layer of marshmallow fluff in between each pancake, and then it is baked, and then they give you a fresh raspberry or strawberry sauce to pour over it.
Wow.
And you only get 3 pancakes. That's it. Any more than that, you're going into a sugar coma. But it's absolutely the best. And they've got the best fresh squeezed orange juice in the city at the Fairmont. Plus, they've got outstanding lattes. So that's the trip that's really got me going right now. And
that's not until January, and you're already chopping at the bit to get there.
Memphis is the other one, because Glenn and I got to eat at so many different establishments in Memphis on Beale Street and had so much fun. I swear I put on 10 pounds over 3 days in Memphis. I mean, it was nothing but barbecue. Great. But the music, the people, I got to tell you, last year being at the Southern Lodging Summit was one of the best experiences. Found out meeting a Southern hospitality, everybody looked you in the eye. Everybody had a hearty hand clasp. Wasn't anybody handing you a dead fish to shake their hand. And, it was a great experience. And I got to meet some owner operators, some of the brand guys that are based down there, and various others, and just really, walked away from that conference learning a lot and enjoying the entire program from beginning to end. And, when you go to a new event or one you haven't been to for a while, the anticipation and the hopes, dreams, and aspirations for that event, when they exceed your own thoughts, it's always a lot of fun.
Okay, let me ask you, this conversation is I didn't know it got away from us. It was like 57 minutes already.
We haven't been cracking jokes the whole time.
We have not, and that's surprising. But I have a question for you. Will the Click Conference ever come back?
We're working on it. It will be different from what it has been in the past. And today is also my conference producer's birthday. So happy birthday, Arnie Garfinkel.
Happy birthday.
It was a great joy doing that conference. We had 8 in person, 1 virtual. And I think every year we got better. We had great sponsors, exhibitors, and most importantly, the attendees. And it was always about keeping it affordable and presenting great information. And last year, I had a 40% increase on all my fees across the board. And I couldn't justify in my own mind raising the price of tickets and the price of sponsorship and exhibitorship. So I decided to pull the plug and blow it up. And we're working on something else that hopefully we're going to do in March of next year. It isn't confirmed yet. I'm about 90% there.
Okay.
I know what I want, but totally different. And instead of a day and a quarter, it will probably be somewhere between, I'm going to say, 3 to 5 hours. So it's going to be really short, but hopefully impactful. That's the thing that I've got to get right, or the conference doesn't work.
So. Okay. Well, it was something I definitely enjoyed for the last 3 years that you invited me to go. It was something I look forward to. And not just me, other people that I talk to, they look forward. I mean, I know you get the comments and all that. So there's a lot of people that look forward to it. So, and I was one of them. So, and I appreciate
we're not having to do a conference this year, because typically, it's always been on the first Thursday of March.
Okay.
Enough time between Alice and before Hunter. And again, being focused just on California made it different, unique. And we got a lot of cooperation uh, from entities that maybe really don't cooperate on such a hyper focused local conference. So it was really, really good.
Mhm.
And February, usually I'm running around screaming and yelling, my hair's on fire, and Arnie Garfinkel's putting the fires out and making sure that I'm calm. And this year didn't have any of that, so it was kind of funny. But it was just one of those things that we had a good time, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Is that my phone that's doing it, or
Oh, it's mine. My son's calling me.
oh? I thought it was my microphone. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But okay, all right. Well, I understand, but hopefully it comes back. Let's just say that. Hopefully it comes back because I did enjoy it and I did look forward to going as well. So I see Hotel Matt is over there on Instagram, as well as AJ's Concrete. So thank you guys for coming on and listening to me and Craig. We're just here talking. We're just here having a conversation. Different topics come up. So if you have not, maybe you're just joining, go back and listen to it in its entirety. Would appreciate that, and Craig would appreciate that too. So, and make sure if you don't follow us on all these particular platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube, Facebook, please make sure you follow us on those, because there's always some good information that we're sharing. Okay, everything in the love of the hospitality industry, right? So even from a operation or sales perspective to the development perspective to a funding perspective for insurance and things like that. I mean, we kind of cover a little bit of everything. Not me, but Craig will cover that part of it. Okay, so not me, but Craig. That's his expertise for the most part. So, so there you go. So, you got any parting words? We're at like 102, an hour and 2 minutes.
Treat your guests right. Treat your associates even better, because they'll make your guests better. And we're getting ready to launch season 12 of Click Connect over on the Click Media pages on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and the rest of the social media empire. We're getting ready to launch another show. You can catch Glenn Hausman and I on 3-Minute Thursdays. It's all in good fun, and as I like to say, it's yap content. And then Glenn and I also do Friday Night Audit. It's the lighter side of hospitality with way too many adult beverages, but it's a fun show.
Yeah, they have a good time. They definitely have a good time. I've been on there at least once, maybe twice. Maybe twice I've been on there. Yeah. So and yeah, I always make sure I have an adult beverage as well. Beer is my adult beverage of choice. So it just depends on what I have in the fridge. But no, I look forward to that. So no, you guys are great. And you guys are the top. You guys are the top. What does it feel like to be the top? We're gonna end it on this. And I don't want to hear this. Oh, we're modest and all. No. What does it feel like to be on the top?
I thank the organizations that have recognized me and the hard work that goes into the Click Media shows. Glenn is the powerhouse. He is the one by which we are all measured. He is the pod father. Okay.
Pod father. I like that.
And I've learned so much from him. We go back probably close to 30 years. Okay.
Okay.
And he is a brother by choice. And I learn a lot from him, but I also could sit down and just laugh with him. Okay. And that's fun. Click shows are a little bit farther down that ladder. Now, Friday Night Audit is ranked higher than Click, so I'm starting to think people like me better intoxicated than they do sober. But that's a different story. But I got to tell you, it's really know your audience, know yourself, be authentic, and listen to your guests. Listen to what they have to say, because sometimes, most of the time, you learn something from them. They can also take the conversation into another direction. And you get that authenticity between you as the host and you as the guest, which is a lot of fun. And, Russell, you do an outstanding job. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for our industry. And thank you for having me as a guest today.
No, we got to continue to do this. This can't be a one-off. We
Nah,
gotta, every now and then, hey, what are you doing? Let's get together and do it live. You know what I mean? So no, I appreciate you. And I told the story for you guys are just tuning in. I told a whole story about Craig and I and why we're so good friends to this day and how this thing even came to be.
Yeah.
And Craig was instrumental in me starting my first podcast. So there you go. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna throw it out there, okay? Because he is. But no, I've actually asked Glenn, and one of the last times I saw him, because normally you don't see him in person unless you have an appointment or you're in the same space with
he's
him.
very approachable.
He is. And I went up to him and said, hey, I said, if you had to give me, one form of advice or one piece of advice, what would it be? He said, just be you. He said, don't try to be someone else. Be you. And if if that means you try to be funny, continue to be funny. Whatever that is, and stay within, your space. Because I don't go on talking about, hotel development. I may touch on it because maybe I was part of a project at one time, but everything I talk about is based on my experiences, right? So most of my experiences are within the four walls of that hotel, right?
Yeah.
And now it's, on the outside looking in or from the top looking down. But I'm always going to draw off of my experiences and share those with you in a different kind of way. And he said, stick to what you do. If it works, then keep doing it. So I appreciate him, giving me that advice, and I definitely do that, and as well as you, and the conversations you and I have had, and I appreciate that. So
appreciate you, my friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a great day. Thank you guys again. I want to thank Paula C for coming on. Remember, Paula C is going to be on our show. In fact, I'll put it up there again. Show number 351. That's next Tuesday at 1:00. So make sure you guys check out that one with Miss Paula C. Gonna talk about some AI stuff. And then let's see. I want to thank Jim Schickta, Paula C, of course. AJ's Concrete, thank you so much. Matt, Hotel Matt, thank you so much for joining as well. So that is it. You guys have a great day. Happy 4th of July. Be safe and drink one for me, right? Drink one for me. All right. Take care, Craig. Be safe.
Russell, thanks.
All right. Bye now.